waiting here, huh?
FBI, you might want to stay out of this, all right, sir? Excuse me, sir. Ma'am, please, back off. All right, I need 8 double tall.
And listen, baby, is it possible that I've not only got 8 double tall, but I've got all the wizard juice? Look at the constellations. Look at where they're moving. And you have to wonder, is it possible, Lane, that the stars are aligning for a week of artisan madness? No pun intended to Mr. Chris. Lane, what are the stars telling you, brother?
Telling me we got exclusives coming this week, as well as that it's just kind of the appetizer before Showcase and Sideshow's yearly their con, where there's probably going to be even more stuff for the next year that's going to come run us over, and there'll probably be more exclusive too. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an Artisan exclusive in something here upcoming, since the last one we had wasn't Obi-Wan, and that was like now going to be a couple months ago. So I'm sure they'll have something for the Artisan train probably before the end of the month to come and make us have to decide, do we want to spend $500 or not?
Well, is this what they call Lane, ladies and gentlemen? You do have to wonder.
They call him the Wizard.
Listen, you are all watching Ancient Action Figures live right here at the 6 Scale Cantina. I am your Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, serving up all the good stuff, baby. And listen, did InArt tell Hot Toys, hold my McBeer? We're going to be talking about that a little bit later in the show, because I think that they did with this whole Superman business, which we're going to get into in this show for sure. But listen, it is, even more importantly, episode 3 is right now. And then later on in the show, we'll play the intro late as usual, which always makes Lane happy, so that we get more in here to see the brand new intro, the intro for episode 3. What is Dr. Wonder going to say this week? Is the 13th skull in the panel? You do have to wonder. But Lane, good to have you in here. And then we got a special guest. See if I can point my finger right here. There it goes. Mr. Mike Latoris, who you normally see in the chat. And it is my privilege and honor and excitement to have Mr. Mike in the cantina this week. Mike, what's going on, baby?
Oh man, the honor is all mine. The honor is all mine. If I may, a quick story. I've been doing this now for 3 years. I've been streaming. I've been fortunate enough to stream with Connor on Hot Toys Hotline, and Chris and Lane on that show, and Shane and the crew on One Six Figure Focus. And it has been incredible, but none of that would have happened had I not discovered your show, because Raw was the first live stream I ever knew about for action figures. And my wife and I would come, because that was a Monday night show. My wife would come home. We would come home from work. We didn't have kids yet. And we would sit down every week and watch your show. And that's how I got introduced to this larger world of, live streaming and talking about action figures. And it blew my mind that we could do this week in and week out. And we can, and we do, and we love it. And I've just made so many friends. And you were the gateway into that world. So, people ask me, and you have to wonder if it's possible. And it is. This is actually my first.
Wait. Let me go ahead and blow that up. Let me see if I could solo lay you out. Go ahead, bring that back up again, there, Mr. Mike. Yeah, look at that, baby.
This is my first
wow
live stream show merch, Aries. So I've been enjoying this for a few years now, so it's good. I'm real honored to be on the show.
He's even got Steve's hat on. He's got all the merch.
I got Steve's hat on, But Aries, you've always created such a fun and creative and just like positive, show. So I want to thank you, and like I said, thank you for bringing me into this world, because I just started really collecting Hot Toys about 3 years ago, and it was okay when I was just by myself collecting figures, but now that I'm like part of a larger world and I have all these other friends, it makes it so much more fun. So thank you.
You bet. And you're just making me do this, baby. For sure. And listen, you do have to wonder, has that just inspired me to get on the horse, to get on the wagon, or getting the spaceship is much better for this channel, and get moving on new 6-scale Cantina mugs?
Oh, yeah.
And I say yes.
I say yes, it's possible.
Yeah, we got to do it. We have so much. It's time for another one.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, Mike, so good to have you in here. Everybody, again, you are watching Ancient Action Figures Live, Episode 3, intro coming later on in the show. And then we have another panelist we got to get to, once again making his rounds in the cantina, Chris, Collecting Madness. What's going on, baby? How you doing this weekend?
I'm good, man. Just opened up some figures that I've had in here. Well, actually just one that I had in here for a month because all the Superman hype. I've had the InArt BVS Superman in my collection for months, just sitting in the box. And I finally opened it, and as soon as I did, I regretted not opening him sooner, bro. It's such a good figure, but I'm hyped to see the movie when it comes out. I'm just hyped all around, hyped to be here. Thank you again for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Collecting Madness. I love your backdrop over there. What a collection. What a collection. Look at Superman there. We're going to be talking about Superman a little bit later in the show for sure. And listen, if you're in here watching, don't forget to smash the like button. But you can ask Lane, Mike, Chris, myself, anything you want about anything 6-scale related. Go ahead and do that. We'll certainly get to those questions. And I will certainly get to saying hi to all of you as we go. If I miss your comment, just copy and paste and put it in again. But listen, as we're just kind of shooting the stuff before we get into the real meat and topics of this program, Lane, guess what I saw last night? I had a bit of a Jurassic moment, and I went with my family, and I thoroughly enjoyed Scarlett Johansson in the new Jurassic World Rebirth. I was pleasantly surprised, and I really, really enjoyed the movie. I will tell you that it was a great test for the heart, because there were some moments where it was a little intense.
I would have said maybe we do first movie in movie theater, especially since the last time you described, the last time you were in the actual movie theaters and stuff, that didn't,
it wasn't like Friday the 13th, Lane. I mean, it's a monster. It's a dinosaur movie.
I
was scarier though.
Last time you were in a movie theater and stuff.
Yeah,
maybe not scaring yourself with T-Rexes munching on people.
I did. I was actually scared walking because I parked at the same spot basically.
So you were perfect at a deja vu.
Yeah, and it was perfect, like deja vu. But I'm happy to report that this time, not only was the pain level, walking in there not 7 or 8, and not 4 or 5, watching the movie, it was a big, fat 0. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. But I was surprised to see the Lincoln Lawyer in there. Has anybody on the panel seen the movie? Lane, did you see it? Mike?
I will probably
Chris?
not see that movie.
No, I want to see it, but my dad said it kind of sucked. So I've heard mixed things about the film, so I don't know.
I really enjoyed it.
But I definitely still want to see it.
Yeah.
That's good to know, because sometimes I can't take his word, because he's a bit of a classic movie. He likes the original Jurassic Park. I don't even know if he likes any of the world movies like I do. I think he likes the first Jurassic World, but yeah, he said, I don't know. Maybe not as much action in it. I don't know.
It had more than what I thought. It was pretty darn cool, and I was a little bit skeptical about the new cast, and I was surprised to see the Lincoln Lawyer in it, which I was pretty excited. I forgot the actor's name, but I watched that show on Netflix. But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's like a monster movie. It's like like one of those, like Anaconda. You're gonna walk in there like Jurassic Park. There's half the cast. I started calculating which ones are going to get killed off by hedging my own bets with my family. But is it possible that ancient action figure theorist has just jumped on in the panel from another cantina in another universe? Is it possible that there's actually two cantinas? And I say, Victoria, what's going on, baby? Good to have you in here.
Hello, Aries. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, everybody in the chat. It's good to be here. Yes, another universe, another cantina, but we're here and we're happy to be here. And thanks for having me, Aries. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We were just kind of shooting the stuff, and Chris, it is good to have you aboard. So everybody going to Victoria now. This is Victoria from Victoria's Cantina. And Victoria, we were talking about Jurassic World Rebirth, I think is what it's called. Did you see it, or are you going to see it?
I did see it. I went to an early screening a couple of weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. I'm a big Jurassic fan, first of all. It's one of my favorite movies. I grew up collecting the Kenner toys, and I have a big, sizable dinosaur and Jurassic collection to this day. And I still collect them, but I wasn't a big fan of the last two movies, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and then Jurassic World Dominion. I like that one even less. But this one I really enjoyed. I thought that it felt fairly classic in terms of, what I like to see in a Jurassic movie. I think part of it is that they filmed it on actual film and not digital. And it kind of gave it that, that feel of like the original film and then the Lost World Jurassic Park. And I liked the more intimate story and setting. I thought the island was awesome. The island, the location's a character in and of itself. I thought the relationship between the characters, they had a lot of charisma and they got along really well. And when you watch them in interviews and you watch them like on the Jurassic World social media, they just interact really well together. And it comes through on screen as well. The different dinosaurs were really cool. I had a few issues with some of the canon of Jurassic kind of being a little bit muddled. So I do have some questions about it, but overall I thought it was great. I had a really good time, and based on how I felt about the last two Jurassic films, I was very pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed it.
I have a question for you guys.
That's really
Aries and Victoria. One of the positive things I heard about it was that it's like a love letter to the first film. Did you feel that way at all?
I would say I felt that it was a love letter to the first three films more than to the original film.
I would agree with that. There was some throwback to it, and it did put a smile on my face.
They actually took one of the scenes from the original book of Jurassic Park.
I heard that as well.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Movie.
And that was like cool for fans that know that lore from the book.
I'm just gonna say,
This
I
is
know
what I'm
5 people
talking
went
about.
Yeah, I just know 5 people went to see it and said it was terrible. Like, just they said it was awful. So, and I hated Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, and I've already heard some of the setup for this movie, and I was just like,
see, that's what I was just telling Eric. Like, I've heard mixed reviews, and then what my dad said, but hearing you two speak about it and the passion behind it, I'm like, dang, I really want to watch it. Like, I still do, but it's almost got me on edge about it because I was really hyped, and now, I don't know.
Is Chris frozen or am I frozen?
I think Chris is frozen.
No, it's me, dude.
Okay.
It's me.
Yeah. I will tell you, guys, if you saw the movie, and maybe I could have sworn I'm watching this film. My wife's sitting next to me. My daughters are next to her. And I said, oh, my God, Orlando Bloom is in here. And then she's telling me it's not Orlando Bloom. And I said, I swear to God, it's Orlando Bloom.
Maybe a little bit too
How could it
old
not
now.
be? Okay, but that dude that was in there, he looked just like him. You know what I'm talking about, Victoria?
I can see that now. I know the actor you're talking about. Yeah, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I actually searched it on Google, and there's like a bunch of Reddit threads about it. So I'm like, okay, well, at least I'm not alone, and I don't feel crazy, thinking that, because I'm looking at. I actually swore it was Orlando Bloom. So when the credits rolled, and I saw Scarlett Johansson, and I saw the other actors' names roll, I said, oh, they're going to have one of those moments as the credits roll, where it's going to say and Orlando Bloom, and they didn't, and I'm like, what the f? And then I look it up. I'm like, oh my god, it wasn't him. But it seriously had me fooled. But I really did enjoy the film. It's kind of like a thrill ride, but I will say this: it had a throwback to Jaws, in my view. I mean,
For
you
the
know what I'm
50th
talking
anniversary, man.
It had some Jaws in it. Is all I'm going to say, which is fine because I love Jaws. But to me, it was a good thriller monster, type of thing, and people are going to get knocked off, and you kind of know the films I'm talking about, and I thought it satisfied in that way. Is this new cast, better than the one before with Chris Pratt and God, what's the woman's name? It's
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard is awesome, or the original. I don't know, but I think they may do another one of
Well, it's already
these.
made like $400 million. I mean,
Oh,
dinosaurs.
really? Yeah.
That no one in that universe may actually care about dinosaurs anymore, but in the real world, people still are fascinated by dinosaurs. So,
Yeah.
it may. I would not. It may. I don't know if it'll make $1 billion. I think it's got a lot of competition coming in between, but it's still going to make enough where they'll probably try and do another one. Now, it may be just another one-off like that,
but they're really no-brainers, right? If you have young kids, like my son is 2.5, a little too young for this still. I think it'd be a little too intense. But if I had a 5-year-old or so, I'd go see it. You know what I mean?
It's a bunch of movies already. Too.
Yeah, we can catch up, but take our time watching those, and he'll be 5 soon.
They're kind of each their own separate thing. So if you kind of go, for the most part, if you want to skip one. You don't need to see Dominion to kind of figure out. You may need it to at least see maybe the first two, but from what I've heard, you don't need to watch Dominion at all. You can just see this one and just go. Even though they say some of the world building seems to not work exactly in the movie, but I said, bro, all the setup needs to be as long as they're still set up in the world now where we can have dinos might munch on some people. As long as that still exists in it. At least from a basic premise, you're set to go. And Victoria is already telling me what a good collector she is because she's making sure right up in front and kind of primed behind her on a top shelf is that Imperial Praetorian Guard figure, which is one of the most underrated figures that Hot Toys has put out.
Yeah, your display is great, Victoria.
Thank you.
Your display looks great.
I'm not biased at all or anything that I have 2 of those guys or anything.
Well, listen. The reason I would survive Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, Jurassic Planet, Jurassic Galaxy because the Dark Jedi not only has special wizard powers, not to mention the Force, but I would just bring this guy with me, and the dinosaurs wouldn't even touch me, babe.
You're delicious. Ciao, boys.
Yeah, because they'd be too busy eating him. Give you a 5-minute head
It's
start.
delicious.
That's why you find yourself in a dinosaur park, always make sure the guy with you is slower. So, you both run away to get him and you keep going.
Or you could just bring this guy with you who could probably pick these dinosaurs up and throw it like a bunch of rocks like Ray Skywalker. And I will tell you what, the Mandalorian and Grogu, I am chomping at the bit. I have spilled all my coffee, and every morning I spill my coffee because I haven't been this pumped up about a Star Wars film, The Mandalorian and Grogu, for so long. Because I looked at that celebration, those little previews that they gave you there. I am dying for the trailer, but it looks like gunslinging. It looks like the old Wild Wild West. It looks like the late 70s, baby, and the early 80s. And it looks like Grogu is just back to his old stuff.
Yeah.
I think this movie, it's either going to be the biggest bomb, it's going to make Solo look like, Endgame, or it is absolutely going to be like Wolverine and Deadpool. And I'm getting the sneaking suspicion that it's going to be. I mean, look, I'm just going to play this. It's hype time, baby. It's
all right. But this is the last time.
I'm ready for a Star Wars movie, Victoria. I'm ready for a Star Wars movie, girl.
Yeah, me too. It's been a minute since we had a proper Star Wars movie, so I love the what we've been getting, especially with Andor. But to see it on the big screen would be quite a treat once again.
I want that theater experience where the lights go out, once and you get that text on the screen and the crowd goes wild. Like I just want to feel that again. And it's been long enough that I think we're all going to do that. I'm really looking forward to that. Star Wars needs to be on the big screen. I've enjoyed the Disney Plus stuff, but let's get back out to the theater with Star Wars. It's time.
It's time. It's time, baby. Because when I had Celebration, and that came out, the little snippets, the little sneak peeks of the Mandalorian and Grogu, you started to get a sense that Star Wars was, there was some hype getting back in there, was starting to come back on the map a little bit. And then I'm sure that Howard's like, please come back on the map, because if you think I'm unloading a ton on you now, I have got so much more just waiting on the horizon. And with that, before we get into the intro for this episode 3, I do want to start off with, as Lane predicted, and Lane, I'm going to try and pull it up for you, baby, so you can see it. You said that there would be an Iron Man within the next 4 to 6 weeks, and you were right. We just got another Iron Man, baby. Here you go, Lane.
I feel like Nostradamus.
He predicted the sky would be blue.
I went on such to Revis Island. Any football fans might get that as an older reference.
Lane, this is what they call you.
The Wizard.
I mean, even more shocking, it's a Mark III 2.0, 2.0 variant. Like, I mean, we haven't seen any of those at all in the last year.
So wait a minute. Now they're not only doing 2.0s, they're doing 2.0 variants. Where does the end stop? But Lane, your impressions of Stealth Mode 2.0, 2,500 pieces.
Well, I've owned the original Mark III 2.0, which to several of my friends, including I think Collecting Madness, Chris's mental pain. I had the 2.0. I sold it to buy so I could buy the red and chrome version of it last summer, because I just went, bro, they're the Mark III, the same thing, except that one looks cooler to me. So I sold that one, and I kind of wish I had it now, because that one sells for a lot more even now than I sell it for. The Mark III 2.0. It's one of the 2 Iron Mans that actually you can get pretty, sells pretty well. But this one I think looks great. Like, this is obviously they did a 1.0, which feels weird because that was an exclusive variant color from however long ago it was.
It does look cool. Honestly,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, if you own, I understand the point. Like, if I didn't own the red and chrome or the Mark III, hadn't owned or didn't have had the regular Mark III, this would be one probably. I mean, they've had several really good looking ones. I think we had that gold one, a little bit earlier this year. That was just kind of the chromish gold. That one looked nice. This one, though, I think it's just with the silver and blue, like metallic blue. This might be, I think, the best looking one of these variants they put out in the last year. I mean, it's basically the exact same figure, so there's not a whole lot of difference between it and the earlier versions. I don't know if this guy will sell out like right away. You know how we've had some of the limited.
I don't know. It's Iron Man, though, bro. You really think 2,500?
Well, no. But I mean, think about it. We've had even at Celebration, Galen Erso took a while, and he's still somewhat in Asia. Still, you can find him.
Yeah, but listen. all respect to Galen Erskine, and I'm a Star Wars guy, but he's far cry from
Yeah,
Iron
no,
Man.
but I'm saying even that variant, you can that concept Darth Maul, you can still buy that was from Celebration.
Oh, we're gonna get it.
That's
I
still
got some data on that.
Yeah, but I'm just
What a
saying
bust.
because we kind of are, and we've talked before, and I'd be interested in with you and the other panel too. The last year, it feels like we're in exclusive hell. They're putting out almost at least like one exclusive a month, one or two exclusive a month. And has Hot Toys putting a bullet in the idea of exclusive?
Well, listen, Lane. Yeah, when you go to exclusive hell, you don't get like greeted by Igor like when you go to regular hell. You get greeted by this guy.
Howard I love that you compare him to Emperor Palpatine, like maybe the most evil guy in cinema history, where he would say,
dude, it's another Iron Man.
At minimum, he's responsible for us watching a planet and millions of people get exploded in 5 seconds. I'm sure he loves that. But everything about this figure looks great. If you don't own this or you own the Mark III already, and this I think is a great addition to your collection, but it just, my thing is, like I said, during the intro part, I think we're going to have some more exclusives like within the next, maybe not even 2 weeks, because I think the showcase and with Sideshow Con
maybe before the show
next week. Yeah, not this week, but next week. I think this is just the prelude, kind of like the first week of stuff coming out here and stuff. So I would tell you, be patient.
Yeah, definitely be patient. But listen, I'm going to go to Victoria here. Victoria, but before I give, we'll get back to Lane before at the end of this, give an opportunity to give another prediction of the next Iron Man is going to be. Is it going to be a week, or is it going to be 6 weeks, 8 weeks? Victoria, are you into the Iron Mans that Hot Toys puts out? Because I'll be honest with you, Iron Man is kind of, Victoria, we're all into it. We're into the Star Wars. We got into this. We both came for the Black Series, but Hot Toys' bread and butter is Iron Man. So they just keep putting it out, and they put it out really well. But are you surprised that we just keep getting variants like this?
Not really. I mean, it's easy money for them to just repaint an Iron Man and put it back out there and see who'll bite. I mean, I'm not one of those people. I actually don't even have a single Iron Man. I'd love to have one because I do have a good few Marvel figures, but I don't have an Iron Man at this point. Yeah, I mean, it's just easy for them to do, so they're doing it, and some people are probably going to pick it up. I mean, I don't know anybody personally that was over the moon for this variant. But hey, I guess the more the merrier when it comes to Iron Man, it seems like.
Yeah, no, I think I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we wind up getting a few Iron Man before we get to Mike and get his thoughts and Collecting Madness. Chris is rebooting, so we will get Collecting Madness. He's saying here, I'm having serious tech issues trying to get it back up. Go ahead there, Mr. Collecting Madness. We'll get you back in here as soon as you come back up. But let's say hi before we get to Mike and get his thoughts on this. Let's say hi to some of you in the chat. And as I'm doing that, remember, you are watching Ancient Action Figures Season 2, Episode 3, the premiere of Episode 3. Intro coming soon as we're talking about this new Iron Man. Let's say hi to some of the folks that are in here. Charlie the Unicorn is in here. Good to have you in here, Charlie. Let me know what table you're at, baby, and we'll fill you up. MB Dyson in the house, sporting the Terminator. I cannot wait to get the Terminator 2 stuff from Hot Toys coming out. Gosh, almighty. Punisher is in here. What's going on, Punisher? Great to have you in the cantina tonight for sure. And speaking of celebrations, says Spice Runner in the house tonight, asking me, Aries, will you be at the next one in LA in 2027? Well, you do have to wonder if I will be. I think here's a better question. Um, will we have an artisan of this guy before 2027?
Oh, really? You're cold?
Good to have you in here, Spice Runner. We'll see if the Dark Jedi makes an appearance. And we've got Ricardo. Ricardo, what is going on? Good to have you in here. And listen, there's only one way to do this. Everybody, if you want to go ahead, and we got Chris back on the count of three. One, two, woo!
Woo!
Got the big dog pound in the house. Always great to have Buddy in here. Hot Toys Hotline, Connor, what's going on right now? Wish I could be here with you all. What a panel! Great to have you in the chat, though, Connor. Hopefully, we get you in here next week. Always good to have him in here. Sean Bean is in the house. What is up, baby? What table you're at? Larry Walker, good afternoon to you. Gosh. And listen, Jagron, wait a minute, that's Lane. That is Lane. And Adam is in here as well. Good to have you in here, Adam. And listen, if I'm missing any of you, just go ahead and continue a log of the chat, and I will get your comments up for sure. Speaking of putting up, collecting madness, saying Hot Toys Hotline, I miss you. Let's actually go to you since you got your. Well, what do you think of this Iron Man? Are you surprised that Lane nailed this? That we got an Iron Man as quick as he said.
Well, I kind of expected an Iron Man because somebody told me about some leak stuff. I didn't know which one, but I knew they were gonna do another Iron Man. But to see this, I mean, I guess the more the merrier, right? Because we got the Vaders and stuff, and we got all these Anakins that they started spewing. So I guess it was only a matter of time that they came back to their beloved Iron Mans for the people who are in that market. Of course, me being me, I personally am not picking this up as I just got rid of my Mark 85 because I want the Mark 7 as my definitive Iron Man. But I think it's one of the cooler looking ones, the art going in the center of his chest, how it's red there. I like the blue tone effect and the chroming on the face shield there. I think it looks really cool. Again, not for me, but whoever's getting it, I'm happy for them. Happy whoever's fulfilled when they, spend that cash out of their wallet.
Yeah, well, I do think that all these Iron Mans, for the most part, they go hard. Thank you, Chris. Mike, let's go to you. For me, I'll be honest with you. I am waiting with bated breath, brother, for the Artisan Iron Man with a Tony Stark head sculpt, which that's going to start a whole new slew of different variations for them. And that they're planning it. They're not sitting there like Howard and JC Hong and the whole gang and the whole board and this one and that one going, oh yeah, put Robert Downey Jr. on the shelf. We wouldn't make any money off any Artisan type of Tony Starks and Iron Mans and mixing them together. That's the one I'm waiting for, because I can guarantee you, Mike, from my perspective, it wouldn't be just one. I don't think anyone would have to worry about missing out on the queue, because I think when it comes to Artisan Iron Men, this is what's going to happen. But Mike, your thoughts, go.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm really curious to see how that Peter Parker comes out. I think that'll be kind of indicative of how that shorter hair looks. So far, we've gotten the shortest hair with the Artisan Luke. But if and when they nail that Peter Parker, I think
you mean the Tom Holland head sculpt?
The Tom Holland head sculpt, yeah. Absolutely. So, but you're right. I mean, to leave that money on the table would be crazy for Iron Man, for a Tony Stark head sculpt. They got to do that. So I'm sure that's coming. I'm going to echo some of what you guys are saying. I think this would have been a very sexy figure in blue and chrome, but they took it up a notch with this like almost gunmetal that they've done with it. And then the black internal mechanisms instead of silver. And then you've got the red repulsors, the red eyes. I mean, it's a very, very sexy Iron Man. Am I picking it up? No. I right now I've kind of bookended my Iron Man, so I've got the Mark III and the Mark 85. Very, very happy with both of those. And Victoria and anybody else. Well, Victoria, I know you're a Star Wars collector, so you may already have like a 3PO or something. But when you first hold or experience the fully die-cast Hot Toys figure, it's like it's just a whole other thing. You know what I mean?
Dude,
The
yeah,
weight of it, the coolness to the touch of the metal, it's
heavy as
really
hell.
blows you away. It really does. So whatever Iron Man you choose in this newer range of them coming out in the diecast, you're gonna love it. And I think this thing's gonna sell out very quickly. Although, Lane, I know what you mean. We have seen these sell out like later in the evening. But with an Iron Man, we'll see. I think this is going to go pretty quickly. I don't think it's going to last more than.
I agree with you guys. I don't know what the rest of the other panel think. Just jump in, but I actually think the more that I'm looking at this and how crazy a lot of collectors that are diehard Iron Man fans with Hot Toys,
Hong
I think it's going to go hard because there's nothing like this.
No, I agree, Aries. I agree. I used to be a big. Oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say this could rival the DX47 Lane.
What do you think?
I don't know about all that.
I think someone might be getting a little bit of light in the head or something.
Well, listen, this
But you
Wizard
know what?
Juice, you want me to give you the info, right?
You know what?
Well, I mean, but hey, it's not like there haven't been variant paints of Iron Mans that are so expensive. I mean, not tons of them, but just think about that. What was it? The Disney 100 Mark 7 repaint.
Mm-hmm.
That brightish, bright red colored one.
Yeah, it's like that Coca-Cola red almost. Yeah.
Yeah, but that one when it came out, that one still sells for $600-700 because it was so like you would say limited. Now, at least last time I saw it, but you also don't see them pop up very often. So that's not to say this one.
We get the black and gold too.
Well,
at least minimum keep its retail value.
This is going on in a queue, right, guys? Or am I crazy?
Well, we don't really know, right? Because they seem to have been mixing it up lately, where it's just like, hey,
Sometimes
just
they
dive in and get it. Yeah.
I wonder how many people are going to be acting like this guy with this version. Only at 6 scale Cantina. Only at 6 scale Cantina. Come on.
I mean, considering the popularity of Iron Man over in Hong Kong, I think it'll sell more than people think. And like Victoria, where she's more Star Wars based, there's collectors who are more Marvel based. And I've seen it, when we're doing these streams and people comment that they're like, oh, enough of Star Wars and want Marvel. So I'm sure there are people, as crazy as it seems to some like you and I who are into the whole space theme Star Wars stuff, or even have both, that somebody would prefer an Iron Man over Anakin, but they are out there.
Well, look at how sad this is, Chris and Victoria, because not every exclusive, and this one's even less than that Iron Man being 2,500. I believe this is just 2,000 or something. But really, in the secondary market, where you're getting DX47s and DX34s and DX33s going through the freaking roof. Only $218. They haven't even sold out at Sideshow. I can pull it up, of this very limited piece. Again, it's only like, I don't know what this is, 1,500 or 2,000 pieces. But with 24 bids, this is all that that someone's willing to pay up to, even though it's limited, Victoria. And how much is this limited to? Does anybody know on here? Is this 2,000, this one, or 2,500? Does anybody have it on there? I think it's only 2,000 pieces. But if that's all you can get, $218.50. And Victoria, I think that this figure is cool. And I was going to actually buy it, but you know why I'm not? And I'm a mall fan. I don't want to lose money on it. I don't want to lose like $100-150 on this. It's not worth that. It's not precious enough to me, like the ring, like Gollum in the ring, for me to freaking, oh, I want this just to want it, and I'll lose $150. Screw
It's
that. I mean, this is
1,500.
like, it's not selling. Why?
You know, it's an interesting one, right? It's a very obscure, very niche mall. It's based on the concept art from the Phantom Menace. Hasbro actually made an action figure of this back in 2001 during the Power of the Jedi toy line, and it was a pretty popular figure. But you know, we're talking a little 4-inch figure like this. This is something you got to shell out quite a bit more money for. And you know, earlier this year they just released this fantastic 2.0 Darth Maul, which is just glorious. And whether or not you're a Maul fan, if you're collecting, if you need a Darth Maul, that's the default one you're going to go to, right? Like that's like the definitive Darth Maul they've made thus far. So this is very niche. It's an interesting one because I thought that this one was good as an exclusive. Like the Artisan Anakin Dark Side, not a good exclusive. I mean, this makes sense as an exclusive. But it's an interesting, I think it's very interesting information for Hot Toys, for them to have tried something like this and seen that the demand wasn't quite there for this version. So, I mean, I don't think the price is going to deviate a whole lot from this example. I think this is kind of going to be it for a while. But yeah, I agree with your logic. It's a cool figure. It looks great. But you have to really, really, really love and want every version of Darth Maul to want this particular release.
No, well said, Victoria. And Chris, since you put up, it is 1,500 worldwide, and I'll pull up where it shows that it's not even an almost gone warning on Sideshow. That's a little bit scary with what's going on with 6-scale figure collecting. If you could put out 1,500 of a pretty cool Sith Apprentice Darth Maul, and it's Darth Maul with just a tremendous head sculpt, and this is all you're able to garner. And so I don't got an itchy trigger finger to want to pick this up at 1,500 pieces. I feel like it's just no one wants it.
You know, I feel like what also happened is that they had just done the Phantom Menace one, and the fact that that one has skyrocketed in price.
Skyrocketing, yep.
Yeah, I think it's also the more definitive look for your Maul. Like, sure, people like Clone Wars, but when we envision Maul, at least for me, I go back to Phantom Menace. When you first see him, you know, Duel of the Fates, like Naboo, like him, that hood, and you just unveils him, like that look for Maul is so iconic. I think that more people went towards that in that market. It wasn't even limited, that they'd rather have that than this. And I think Victoria made a good point, like it being concept, it's unless you're super into Maul, I don't really see, it'll probably still sell out eventually, but I don't see it doing anything crazy. Now, you could be wrong because once something's gone, people get like FOMO. But with all the other malls that are out there, like the Rogue One version, and or not Rogue One, what was it? Was it Han Solo? My bad, Solo, that version, and then having the Clone Wars one. There's just different ones, and even then, I still don't think those sold as well as the Phantom Menace. Even the 1.0, I think people were backtracking trying to get those Darth Mauls over the other ones. So.
They were for sure.
And head swapping them too, right? Like, so
yeah, and I think you bring up great points, and you know what? But before, you know, let's actually just go right to Mike with that, because you know maybe I am will you know wrong in the future here. Maybe this will be you know like a super grail, Mike, because it's only 1,500 pieces. But right now on Sideshow, with all the heat that's coming out, you know, I actually think this could be a nice little discovery, because it's Darth Maul. They're probably not. This is maybe one of the rare times, Mike, where they won't re-release this because it's not selling real well. Maybe you got a masterpiece here. Maybe you got a grail in 4 or 5 years with this here. What do you think about that? And are you surprised? 1,500 pieces. This isn't gone yet.
I am surprised it's not gone at 1,500 pieces. Am I as optimistic as you are about its future? Maybe not. I liken this maybe almost to the blue and gray Christian Bale Batman. Like that was bizarre for a lot of people, but it had comic book appeal at least. You could be attracted to that if you were just a comic collector, and it doesn't take much of an explanation. Either for yourself or people seeing your collection, right? It's just this is the comic book color of Batman. This one is a little bit further off the niche path than that one was. So I don't know, Aries. I would love to believe that everything is going to become a Grail, but the lack of interest in this one already. Now that being said, I've heard stories. This was before I started collecting, that Darkseid Anakin sat forever.
And so did the Emperor, by the way, on the throne.
So we've seen that. We've seen that happen. But again, this was never in live action. Now, if they were to say do maybe an animated Tales from the Netherworld Star Wars or something, and they start bringing in some of these concept characters, which I think would be really cool if they did something like that, and they throw them in an animated series or something. Yeah, then I think people might start going back and looking for this.
And that's a great point because, if they bring Darth Maul back, and he makes it on some type of series or an animated series or makes it in one of the films and they use Ray Parks, what happens is kind of a snowball effect. It's almost like, oh, wow, I don't got that figure. Oh, that figure's rare. Oh, there's only 1,500 of them. Oh, this wasn't sexy like that Iron Man we were just talking about back then, but it sure as hell is very, very sexy now. Let's go to somebody's comments and hear about this. Jonathan O'Kane says, I'm a huge Darth Maul fan, and it hurt, but I had to pass on this one. Ricardo says, there's too many good things coming out now. That is awesome, but one has to prioritize, right? Well, that can be part of it. Big Dog Pound says, I have Darth Maul with Speeder 2.0. I got him in the box without the Speeder, Big Dog Pound. Woo! But I haven't had a chance to open them yet. And Darth Maul from Solo. I am done collecting Darth Maul. Again, going back to Victoria and collecting Madness's thoughts there. Preston says, problem with this Maul is no one's seen this version of it. It was seen in live or animation. It would have done
say that too.
Better. Yeah, that is a really, really good point. And Jonathan O'Kane with the $10 bomb says, Aries, long live the Empire. Well, I mean, then I guess I got to go ahead and play you something here, baby. But I let me go ahead and play this because I think we're about to get an explosion. Actually, no. I'm going to play this. This is Lane's favorite movie.
Fulfill your destiny.
If anybody was wondering, Lane Kramer, he doesn't have the Steelers hat on today, but he is a huge Last Jedi fan. Yeah. He wants Snoke. Is Snoke coming from Howard? Everyone's going to say no. We'll never get a Snoke. He's going to limit it to 7 pieces. He's going to charge $3,000 a piece, and he's going to do this. Oh my God, Jonathan O'Kane, I really appreciate it.
Lane's wiping that from his eyes.
I'm wiping that from my memory banks. Oh my God. Thanks, Harry.
Lane, so here's the thing. Not every exclusive, even ones that are really exclusive. This is a complete dichotomy of the Warner Brothers 500 Wonder Woman. So you have 1,500 of this, and you can't even get over 219 with 24 bids in the secondary market. Yet, whenever someone from the U.S., especially right now with the tariffs, put up a Wonder Woman, you're selling her for $1,500, and this was limited to 1,500 pieces. What is the difference between this and that Darth Maul? And again, not every exclusive does well.
People know who this character is in the look. much more than the other one. This is about being able to acknowledge. Like, I mean, this is going to be the same thing where if you probably put my feet to the fire between that Stealth Iron Man 2.0 and the Gregor, that's coming, which one do I think would more likely to hold its, at least retail value? I'd probably say the Stealth 2.0 because more people are going to know Iron Man than that clone character, kind of thing. I think that matters. And now there's some, I don't know if we can directly compare these two because this one also has rooted hair, which is, even though it's not technically an artisan, as you like, it's like the beginning of that, like super premium line of figures, basically. Like it was the early launch basically before they came up with the name.
And it's definitive, right? It's not concept
it is. It is. We can look at that for 2 seconds and go, that's Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, like without missing a beat. Doesn't matter which one or which version of her or from what movie. But
Well,
Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman.
It's funny, Victoria, when you and I were first talking about this when it came out, and I was telling you, I was saying, listen, I think it's okay to spend the money you want to spend on it because I think it's going to double. So are you surprised?
No, not surprised. I mean, this was a very, very limited piece, and it was one of those ones where, before they did the whole thing with artisans where you had to be there right on time and, in the queue and hope that you got lucky to get in. This was like the very first like test of that whole system,
yes,
right?
You're right.
It was very, very challenging to obtain. And yeah, I remember at the time you're like, Victoria, just do it. So I think we bought from the same seller, you and I, and it's kind of funny. It was a little irritating, but several months later, I was in, not several, it was maybe like 2 months later, I was in Tokyo, and they actually had this at Toy Sapiens, like for purchase, like you could buy it right there. And I was like, well, shoot, I had already spent the money, but at the same time, then there's a whole thing of like shipping it and getting it home. So it was like, still, it was very well, money very well spent because it's a fantastic piece. I just love like looking at that figure, posing her differently every now and then. Not surprised at all. It's probably only going to go up from there, to be honest.
Yeah, and you do have to wonder, ladies and gentlemen, is this 1,500 same as the Wonder Woman, Darth Maul? Is this going to be the story with this? Perhaps in the future, perhaps with some help from some otherworldly powers of Darth Maul appearing in some TV shows, animated, live action, perhaps some films. You do have to wonder. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it. But right now, not really selling. Let's go to some of the comments over here. We have got Loco Lou in the house. What's going on, brother? So good to have you in here. We got to get Lou on the show. What's popping, people? Great to see the Dark Jedi, the wizard himself, back in the game, looking strong. No, I appreciate that, man. We're looking strong, and we're getting ready for this explosion. And I believe it's this week from Howard and Hot Toys, an explosion of a bunch of releases, and probably more so announcements. Yeah, it's going to be coming. It's going to be coming for sure. Good to have you in here. And we have Justin McFly in the house as well. Positive vibes, everyone. Come on. Good to have you in here. For sure. Table 44, says Charlie. Well, I think we'll fill you up. But I think what we got to do right now, we got to get into the bunch of other topics. But I think it's time, Lane, to start the intro and really begin episode 3 of Ancient Action Figures, episode 3 of the new season. Who's ready for it?
I think we just need to call it the middle tro at this point.
We'll call it the middle trailer. Everybody, let's go ahead and dive into this episode, and then we'll get into InArt versus Hot Toys. And right now. Nevada, Area 51. A top-secret base mired in mystery intrigue, and now a new conspiracy suggesting humanoids and aliens are working together to obtain ancient artifacts that can alter the very fabric of our universe.
There is an obsession with certain ancient artifacts, particularly in 6-scale form. What is this obsession? And how is it affecting Hot Toys and InArt?
Is there a connection between the Area 51 secret base and the Hot Toys secret base?
Could the connection explain the vast improvement with head sculpts recently? Could both secret bases be working together to reverse engineer some otherworldly head sculpting technology?
And are both secret bases unleashing drones like the one seen off the Jersey Shore this past winter?
Are these drones searching for ancient artifacts?
So I do think you have to ask yourself, is the waitlist, all of this less production, and these high market prices all part of some secret master plan? And I say, let's go ahead and dive into episode 3 of the new season of Ancient Action Figures, baby. Right now.
And what you're going to do when the Dark Jedi goes live at Raw with Ancient Action Figures Episode 3 on you? Listen, doesn't get any more fun than that. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We've already got 50 in the house. Smash that like button right now. You know you want to. And if this is the first time you're watching 6-Scale Cantina, go ahead and feel free to subscribe, baby. But what is going on with these action figures? Is there some otherworldly influence with how much these head sculpts have improved just over the last couple of years? I think I put a little bit of some teasers, some talking points in there. We're going to start off here with Mr. Mike Latoris. And look, I'm going to talk about it because there's been a lot of talk over the last few days about the Hot Toys Superman and the InArt Superman. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring this up onto the screen and get the panel's thoughts and everybody's thoughts on this as I go ahead and flash up the InArt Facebook page of these pictures. Now, I will tell you, Chris, before we get your thoughts, I'm going to give everybody my thoughts on this. This is absolutely outstanding. And what an amazing job with the hair. Almost looks live, but this looks like a real person, a real human being right here. I don't know. I feel like that they totally hit this out of the park like their Henry Cavill Superman. Chris, tell me what you think about this from InArt.
Yeah, like saw Hot Toys, was like, oh, that's cool. Can't wait to see the movie. I'm hyped. And then art dropped theirs, and I was like, yikes. Kind of makes it look like Hot Toys didn't do the best that they could. And you can't really compare the BVS ones because, like, InArt blew them out of the water with that one too. But they were released at different times. Now we're getting like two Supermen at the same time. They probably won't be released at the same time. Let's be honest. InArt's a little slow when it comes to that department. But I do like what InArt does as far as materials used, uh, like the level of attention to detail that they put into like sourcing some of the accuracy. It's not totally perfect. I think the suit still needs some work, but the chest logo is more accurate. I like the sculpt more on this. The hair sculpt, however, is lacking compared to Hot Toys. I think Hot Toys is much more experienced when it comes to sculpted hair. But if I had to choose, like I'm not gonna pick one until I see the movie. As of right now, I'm leaning towards InArt.
Yeah, Lane, you're very well said, Chris. I'm kind of stunned by the beauty of this head sculpt, Lane. Lane, your thoughts on what InArt did here in just days after Hot Toys?
I do have to say, I think this is a case where, and also with price point too, original price point was only if you ordered, now it's sold out, so you're gonna have to look for this other places. But like the initial price point, I think was like 20 some odd dollars difference. Um, the InArt one does come with more stuff. Now, I will say, I think the Hot Toys base I like better, more with the crystals, all that kind of stuff. I do actually like
Agreed.
that one better. So that might be something. If you get the InArt, you might need to keep your eyes out for when that Hot Toys base might come up, maybe early next year. Now, the Hot Toys one is coming out a lot sooner. That's supposed to be in by December, released this year. So it's going to come out way before the InArt one. So you might be able to get both. You get the Hot Toys one to have in your collection for a while it takes a year and a half or 2 years for this one to come out from InArt. That might be true, Charlie the Unicorn, but I actually like how the insignia looks much better on the InArt one. I think it's a lot more fuller and everything with the colors and everything. I'd have to stop and look at like promo paste to see which one could be a little bit more accurate with the style. But this one overall, I like better. I like the hair sculpting a little bit better. And this one is going to have two sculpts. It'll have the closed eyes and the regular one.
Yeah, the closed eyes is interesting to me, Lane.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that as a decision for the head sculpt. I would think like heat vision eyes would make more sense or something. But
you know what?
it's something different.
I don't mean to cut in. I'll let you speak, but I saw a lot of people talking about that closed eye stuff. Superman's a very selfless, superhero, and I feel like him doing that conveys that emotion of all the weight of all the people he feels like he has to save, and that all of that is on top of his shoulders. I think it's a fantastic sculpt to include because we've had the heat vision with multiple Supermans. So to see a closed eye one like him just in his piece, and Henry Cavill did it in BVS too, when all those people basically blew up in that courtroom, like just that conveyed emotion, like that he can't do everything but wants to. I love it personally.
Yeah. Boy, this looks good. So we're going to go back and forth. This is the InArt one. I definitely think, as far as the head sculpt, it is the clear winner with the prototype, for sure. But let's give Hot Toys a chance here and look at their images on Facebook as well. And Victoria, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the InArt one, but obviously, if not, you certainly did now. But this was all the rave as well when this came out. In all fairness to Hot Toys, Victoria, I agree with Lane. The base is better. I do feel this is a completely different expression, almost menacing, that Hot Toys went with, it's not exactly the expression you're going to win a date with. I'm just being honest. The other one, I think, is very attractive. This one's more, I'm going to kick your arse, bro, and I'm going to kick it right now. Almost like he's on the other side of the basketball court or the other side of the ring, and he's coming to knock your teeth out. So in fairness to Hot Toys, Victoria, I do think this is a completely different expression, and that could be giving a different image, because this still does, to me, this doesn't look like a toy to me. It still looks like the actor, in my view.
Does he view it that way, though?
I know, right? That's kind of funny. I saw the footage. Tell me, baby. Go ahead. Talk.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, he might win a date because, I mean, well, look at him. But scowl or not. But yeah.
I've got a man crush. I'll admit it.
Yeah,
He
you know,
means
so I
Superman.
saw this the other day, and I was like, oh, okay, this looks pretty good. You know, it's not exact, but it looks quite good. Maybe the final will look better. But then just a few days later, you see the InArt one, and it's like, whoa. So, I mean, obviously, I think most will agree the InArt one looks a little bit more dialed in. I think the likeness is a little bit more dialed in. Costume looks really good on it. I think they both look good. I think the InArt does look a lot better. I was actually sitting there on my phone yesterday, kind of, should I do it? Should I not? I ended up not for now, because I really want to see the movie first and see how much I enjoy it before, you know, dropping down close to $500 for another figure. But I think it looks great. It's good that there's options. I think the competition does kind of push Hot Toys to want to do a little bit better. I hope. I think that's what we've been seeing with the Artisan line. It's varying results. So overall, pretty good. But I'm here for multiple versions of this character, and hopefully I enjoy the movie and end up deciding to do one. But if I do pick one up, it would definitely be the InArt version.
Very, very good thoughts. You know, Mike, I'm going to start getting into some more of my thoughts on this as we're flashing up. And everybody, you're watching episode 3 of Ancient Action Figures Live. If you missed the intro, don't worry. The outro, we'll play it again for you. And there's been a lot of talk with InArt going right at Hot Toys again after they release theirs, for sure. But what do you think about this, Mike? Because, you know, my thoughts on this are, I don't know why, but this is getting some controversy, the movie. Are people going to like it? Are they not going to like it? My gut feeling is I'm going to love this movie. But there is a lot of talk. I remember looking when Hot Toys first announced this, right on this Facebook page here, the plethora of comments are like, yeah, the movie's going to suck. Or is this movie even going to be good? And who cares? And then InArt comes out with one that just is absolutely unbelievable. Not much talk about that with that release. But there's a couple of very interesting things here. Is the movie going to be successful? I think it will be. And Mike, does the prototype of Hot Toys and InArt really tell the final production story on this? I'm going to let you go first, because I think you may be able to figure out where I'm going to go with this in a little bit. Go, baby.
Well, like you're alluding to, and Victoria said, I think I'm in the majority of people when we say we might be holding off until we see the film to decide whether we're going to get either one of them. I'm very excited for this movie. I picked up the Amazon IMAX early screening for Tuesday, so I'll be seeing it on Tuesday, 7 p.m. I'm really excited. Now, there was there was a supposedly accidentally published review by a pretty big name. I don't know if it was, I can't remember what it was, Collider, Variety, I can't remember. And it was not a positive review, unfortunately. I don't care. I'm still very excited to see the movie. I think that, just speaking of Corn Sweat real quick, I think that Warner Brothers does a fantastic job casting not only a great actor, but seemingly like really wholesome men to play Superman. We saw that with Henry Cavill, Brendan Routh for sure, of course Christopher Reeve, and they've just had a great track. The only one I don't like is Tom Welling. That's because I have personal beef with him. But in general, I mean, I think Cornsweet is just incredible. If you haven't seen an interview, I have been avoiding a lot of the promotional material for this movie because there's a lot going on in this film, and I don't want to see too much of it before I go in. But I've been watching interviews with him recently, and those interviews with him have gotten me very excited to see what he does with this character, because he's such like he is just, they could cast a Hollywood bad boy to play Superman, but it seems like they've really cast just a wonderful actor, a wonderful person. So I'm excited to have, if the movie's great, I would love to have this on my shelf. If the movie's not so great, I will wait for Christopher Reeve. I had the Henry Cavill, and then I think I could just kind of finish off my Superman collection with Christopher Reeve. But I want this to be good enough to buy the figure. Now, that being said, I am definitely in the minority. I prefer the Hot Toys sculpt. I have 2 InArt figures. I have the Batman and the BVS. I love them both. I think that Hot Toys actually does a better job with depth, skin shading, skin paint on their head sculpts. Again, I might be in the minority there, but I like the expression on the Hot Toys. Now, as Chris said, with the closed eyes, yeah, you see Superman in the comics do that, and we definitely could have gotten that for the Henry Cavill, and he had that tone in the film. We haven't seen this one, so as of now, if you look at it and you look at apples to apples here, if you go with Kit, for example, it's $380 out the door. If you go with Hot Toys, at least to the East Coast, it's $325. So that price difference comes with real value: the cape, the extra set of boots, and the extra head sculpt. So I think you're not paying more for the InArt name. You're getting something for that extra $55, and I think that's great.
Yep.
The hair here is the most I think the most flattering angle we've seen on the InArt side.
I agree. That's a great with the smoke in the background, his eyes down. I could see. I think that's why they're including the closed eyes display.
Yes.
You have to wonder if not to go off topic, if maybe one of the next innovation over the next several years is being able to have eyelids open up and down, so you could actually close eyeballs, not just move them.
That would be pretty amazing. One other thing about the hair, though, is I really appreciate Hot Toys giving us the removable back hair piece, because I cannot stand having to grab a suit like this and yank the head on and off to manipulate those eyes. Yeah. If you look at the Hot Toy sculpt, it's got the teeth right there, and you can see you're just going to pull that away. And I think that's great. I think the expression is great on this one. But I would say that with the Hot Toys, if you've seen the JC Hong photo on Instagram, I think you move those eyes and you pose his head in a little bit of different position. Sometimes he looks like he's going to kick your ass. Sometimes he looks like he's almost confident and comfortable and not aggressive. I
thought the picture looked better, and I thought Justin's review at Secret Base, that Justin put up, made it look a lot better than the prototype.
We're not really going to know until a guy like Justin has them both side by side, and I think
that's what he was saying too. I believe at both of his, or at least that video with the InArt one that he put out, for sure.
But I do think the proportions on the InArt look better. I don't think Cornsweet, he's a big guy, but I don't think his biceps are as big as Hot Toys made him. It's not a deal breaker for me. And I love that base. Very excited to see how the magnet system works. The magnets are only as good as your glue. So we'll see. I'm hoping that that works out for Hot Toys, because it's nice to see some innovation,
Well said, Mike. Let's get to somebody's comments before we get to some of mine. Putting this up over here. DeGreat 85 says no interest in seeing the movie, but getting both versions to put with George Clooney, Batman. Charlie the Unicorn goes, I prefer the Hot Toys version. And Costa is in the house. The pop culture living room. Come on. Good to see you in here, my friend. Awesome as well. James Gunn is my guy. Yeah, my guy too. I can't wait for this. MB Dyson says, Dean Cain was nice when I met him too. Well, that's good, for sure. Yeah, we got a lot of good to have you in here. Revenge of the Sith. Trying to get to these comments. They're jumping all over the place in here for sure. Justin McFly's in the house. What's going on, baby? Disc went up a little bit. Captain Crunch is my dog. I guess I forgot to put all these comments up with my intro because we jumped right into this for sure. So one of the things I want to bring up here in regards to this. Well, wait, before I do that, it's Popsic is in the house. Are you kidding me? Table 5 checking in. It's Popsic. Is it possible that he's been a member for like 49 freaking months? Listen, let's fill him up at table 5, baby. It's really, really good to have you in here, brother. I will say I'm looking more forward to this figure than the Superman one. I think that he looks more handsome here than this Superman guy. I really do. I think he's more handsome. I mean, he's very distinguished. He's the Emperor. He says good. I mean, he's like, that's the figure I really want. If I have to choose new Superman or this freaking thing, I'm taking the Emperor. The Emperor all freaking day, baby, for sure. Thank you so much, Popsic, for your continued support. And thank you all being in here. You are watching Ancient Action Figures live. Marlinoid is in here. And the brightness of the suit and expression. Hot Toys reflects the tone of the movie more. Okay.
That's how I feel about it so far, having not seen the movie. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing, guys, and I want to get into it. I think personally, for me, the InArt one, the head sculpt is better. Now, when I saw Justin's review of the Hot Toys one, and I saw JC Hong's little Instagram thing, I said, boy, it looks better than the blogger photos. Maybe they got to do a slightly better job. And part of what I think happened with Hot Toys here, to be quite frank with you, I think they got caught with their pants down. I think that, it's like, okay, we're rolling, we're putting out artisan figures, we're knocking figures out of the park, we're competing with InArt, we're doing well, we're still the king of the hill. And I think that it just slipped them that InArt was going to put this out. And I think they got caught with their pants down on this, and shame on them for doing that. But I will tell you right here, they got caught with their pants down. They got smacked around a little bit. But am I just going to go ahead and cancel if I ordered the Hot Toys pre-order? The reason I'm bringing it up is a lot of people are talking. That figure jumped up to number 1. That figure is there's pre-orders and pre-orders. Should you just cancel the Hot Toys one? Because the prototype of the InArt one is better. And I could tell you, if it was me, I say no freaking way. Because there is not, and I'm going to put myself on a solo look here, there's not a chance in hell that Howard Chan is not going to take record of everything that transpired over the last few days. And he's not going to read every little comment about how his Superman is inferior to the InArt one, and not take it with the same sense of urgency that he did about the cow face Ewan McGregor from the Obi-Wan series. He is going to not take it lightly. Is it possible that he is going to answer back? And is it possible that he will have the last laugh? I'm bringing this up because I am going to bring up some data that justifies
my feelings on this. Don't be so fast to cancel your pre-order, because there was a figure that everybody said it was impossible to be beaten, that there was no way they were going to do rooted hair, and there was no way that someone like Justin would say the head sculpt beats InArt. But guess what? It happened. And they beat it. And Hot Toys came to bat. So you do have to wonder, should you cancel your pre-order of Hot Toys? Because Howard's going to be like, oh, let them win. Who cares? We're kind of inferior. Or are they going to do the same damn thing, collecting madness? And are they going to step up? Is Howard going to lay down? Or is Howard going to answer the Superman? I believe he's going to. So I am not only going to watch the movie first before I pre-order, I think I'm going to wait to see what Howard does.
Yeah. Like Mike said, like I had previously said, I think the best thing to do is wait the film, kind of get your depiction of what you think it looks like, because it's all in the eye of the beholder too at the same time. Like neither are going to be perfect, because to translate from 1:1 into 1:6 is difficult in of itself. And then just them going head to head, some are going to be biased towards one company than the other, blah, blah, blah. They both have their pros and cons. I personally think Hot Toys bodies are better than InArt's bodies. Proportion-wise, InArt wins, like, proportion-wise, as far as if I'm comparing BVS to BVS, because I did have Hot Toys and now the InArt one. Material-wise, I'd give edge to the InArt, but it's like when you got the hair sculpt, Hot Toys just nails that. And I think, like Mike said, the skin tone depth, I think Hot Toys has done that. They've just been in the game that much longer. So like if you are going Hot Toys, you're ultimately not gonna be disappointed unless like they somehow downgrade it. But Hot Toys is king for a reason, and they're a mass producer. But I definitely think with this competition, like they did the Joker, they updated Obi-Wan, as you said, I definitely think this is a perfect opportunity, to which they already have, to say, hey, we're still here. We can do this, even though you're coming in and offering this thing. You tried to sweep us under the rug. We're not going anywhere. We still run this because we've done it for this many years, and they got the fan base to prove it. So I do have hopes that they will improve it for sure. Will they change the body? That's probably the biggest thing for me, is because it's still bulky. They made Henry Cavill that way too. And when you get the InArt BVS one, it's a lot more proportionate to what Henry Cavill was. I don't know, man. To have choices, I think it's great for the collector in general. Like at the end of the day, it's your money. Spend it how you want it. If you're happy with the figure when you get it, whoever you choose, because there's so many, as I said, pros and cons to the base, to whatever suit color you like, to how the sculpt looks. Do you want this expression? Do you think there's too much texture in crypto? Do you like the way his cape flows? Like, you can ultimately have both or have one over the other and be happy and say, hey, mine does this, yours doesn't, and vice versa.
If I like the Superman movie, Lane, I may get both. Because I really, unless InArt does another Aragorn, which is possible. No one's perfect. I mean, it wasn't as good as a prototype. So all these things could happen. But I think that Aragorn actually is flipping outstanding, and I'm looking right at him. But Lane, I don't. Howard doesn't take this stuff lightly. Tony Stank, Obi-Wan Kenobi, this one, that one, he addresses it. I don't see where he looks at this and has a piece of T-bone steak and has some mashed potatoes and says, forget it.
Now, here's the only thing I'm going to say to that, is that I know normally they've had a history, but remember, this Superman is being produced right now because it is supposed to be in people's hands now, and even sooner in Hong Kong.
Not much time to change.
It's supposed to be October to December of this year. So this is a rush.
But he has to change it. He can't put it out with this.
But I'm just saying, there may not be time, or he may not be able to. maybe who knows? I'm just saying they have got to already be about or already.
It's not going to look like
right
JC Hong's sculpting for sure or whatever, because there's
I'm just
always
saying-
downgrade when you mass produce, no
I
matter what.
understand,
upgrade
but
it.
I'm
Don't
just
you
saying-
think the only
not a
change,
chance.
the only realistic change we could expect would probably be the body proportions? I don't think he's going to
that.
go in there and mess with the sculpt this late in the game. Do you?
because it just
He has to,
if-
or
Yeah.
they're going to come out with an artisan version.
Oh
Because when this many people complain,
yeah.
no matter how far they are, but I don't believe that they are in production with this because they don't know how many pre-orders they're going to get yet.
Yeah, it's true.
But I really don't. I don't think that they do.
But
Yeah.
they have to be ready to go. They have to be ready to go to get it out within 3 months of now.
Well,
He
didn't
has
they
to.
with
So
Tony?
he'd have to. This is what happens in companies when you have a recall, even though it's nowhere near a recall, like in the food industry or in beverage. But it's similar, Lane. It's similar. It's a problem. It's a problem for his brand. It's a problem. It's beaten.
Like J&D coach and pulled back.
So he's gonna spend whatever money he has to, and bring this back and fix it. I don't see a spot where he doesn't come back, unless he just says, "Oh, by the way, here's an artisan version. It's different," which he could do.
Yeah, I'm just saying, as of right now, for the release of that, they cannot remake a ton of tweaks to it because they have to be ready to rock and make it here. That's by that will be.
Well, then why can't they postpone it? They've done that.
Yeah, but
I know they'd say I'm
the
just
Mark
saying,
85
they do that all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
do.
as of right now,
like you could get the sculpt afterwards, though. Like they could always change it and say, "Hey,
I know
it'll come with future batches." Or send out different.
It's interesting though. Isn't this an interesting topic though? Because
I
haven't heard anybody talk about this yet, and so this is getting kind of exciting because everyone's assuming. First of all, I don't think you should assume on a prototype. Although I think you're pretty safe that InArt's prototype is going to look pretty much like that. But it's going to be good. It's going to be phenomenal. But to assume Hot Toys isn't going to correct that got more heat, Lane, than this Obi-Wan. I'm just being honest. This Obi-Wan was crucified. And they were like, okay, we can't put this out.
Yeah, but they had like a year and a half to do it.
They did. It was up on pre-order for a while. But this is what he does. This is what the Hot Toys company does, guys and gals, when they get heat.
Yeah,
so
they may also have 100 figures to get out.
To be a fly on that wall, right? To be there to see their reaction. I would love to know what he's talking about and saying about it.
Here's also the other thing I think about too is Hot Toys is very quiet too when it comes to some stuff, and they won't update you.
Yeah.
But would that be a downfall if people are pre-ordering InArt because they think, likeness, whatever reason, right? If they say something, will it draw those collectors back? Hey, they're updating it, so now let's pre-order this. Or if they don't, and then people find out later, isn't that interesting too?
Yeah, I think a challenge Hot Toys faces is that people who want InArt jump on those pre-orders even faster than they do Hot Toy pre-orders.
Yeah.
So, then you got to hope people are going to double up or cancel. And that's a bigger ask, I think.
Yeah, because
let's go. Well, first, Ash here with the $2 bomb. Thank you so much, Ash Chase. Always good having you in here. We had you in here last week, and then we just got Victoria to be able to chime in over here. So, Victoria, you heard all this, and Lane brings up a good point. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe it's a company enough problem where he makes it where, hey, we're going to postpone it. Maybe he puts out an artisan version. Maybe he's like, okay, that's the version there. We can only do what we can. We're going to do a battle damage one, assuming that he has battle damage in this movie. We're going to make it artisan, and we're going to change it, and we're going to make sure it's better. Whatever way, do you think, in some way, whatever way that is, whether it's he can or can't, do you think Howard is going to answer to InArt with this, or no? Do you think he won't?
Yeah, I suppose it's possible. As somebody noted earlier, it is the #1 best-selling figure right now on Sideshow site. So, I mean, they've already got a lot of people excited to buy it as it is. I mean, is that an incentive to go back and change it? Maybe. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because historically, that they have delayed things when they need to, if they're gonna when they go back. And I mean, Supergirl got delayed like a really long time, like a year. And they did change the head sculpt on that one. So I mean, they could do that. They'd have to delay it, and it wouldn't come out this fall. But yeah, I mean, I could see it going either way. I mean, the sales are pretty strong, so I don't know if they would feel they would need to go back and do that. But I mean, if they did, obviously a lot of folks would be happy, but they can also do more. I mean, we have to remember too, this is the very first film in a whole new cinematic universe, right? There's going to be other opportunities to do Superman and to do it better. And I'm sure they will at some point.
No, very, very well said. And Mike, let's go to you from that, because you said that you actually like the Hot Toys one better.
Maybe
so you're
I'm
probably
crazy.
hoping that they don't change it. So
yeah, I don't.
Let's go with this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the only? Let's say the movie is successful, okay, which I think it will be. I just got that gut feeling. I think it's going to be good. Then they're not just going to have one. You know, they came out with the Flash figure. They were going to have the version of Flash with the long hair. Not enough push. They canceled it. Maybe with this guy, they can have not only one, but maybe 2, 3 different variations of Superman. So maybe Howard looks at this like, okay, well, you know, I leave it like Victoria was saying. Too many people, a lot of people, you know, pre-ordered it, or maybe I make tweaks that make it even better. But then I make a new one that's not only going to be better than mine, but is going to be better than InArt. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that might be the smarter play for him here, because like Victoria was saying, they're not hurting for sales here. So why change a good thing as far as the numbers are showing them? Yeah, you know, you might have Facebook. You're always going to have negative feedback out there, no matter what you do. But at least the sales are there, it seems like, at least here in North America with Sideshow. Or I would say that we know for a fact that this Superman gets bloodied up, unlike we've ever seen before.
He does. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen it in the trailer, right?
The trailer has it. Okay, right.
Yep. So that's definitely not a spoiler. But I hope people don't consider this a spoiler, but there are rumors that he gets a different suit in this film at some point. I don't know, obviously, if that's true.
Really?
But that's a rumor I heard. Okay. And so that's another opportunity. So you've got really 3 possible versions we can get from this film. So I don't think, this is just me guessing, I think they could take advantage of those down the line opportunities to say, okay, we know we have InArt doing this and we know what people are saying. Let's really crush them this time, like they believe they did, and I believe they did. I think they did great with the Joker. They saw what InArt did and they one-upped them. I think they can do that again with the Superman in the next iteration. So I personally, I think that's the play. I say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I know some of us think it's broken, but I think people have spoken with their wallets and they really want that Hot Toys version. So I think that's probably what they're most likely to do.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me go to Victoria. I'm going to go back to you with this, Victoria. Is it possible that some people are going to cancel their pre-order because of the InArt version here and all the hype that this is getting? So is it possible that it sold a lot, but there may be some collectors that are disappointed and are like, shoot, I should have waited, but I'm going to give up my $30-$40 because I want this one and I can't spend $1,000 on both, or $700, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Some people will do that. Yeah, I think absolutely. There will be cancellations. I mean, how many? Who knows? Is it going to be enough to impact and warrant a change in what's already been shown? That's the big question. I mean, it's possible they could do that, but I mean, you'd have to assume it's going to be it would have to be a lot of people canceling, right, in order for that to happen. I really don't see that happening.
I actually agree with you. I don't see that happening. Yeah. But Chris, let me talk to you with some of the community chat that has gone on with this. And again, it's few and far between. I get it, because online it's not the same as real life buys. But if you go just by the small poll sampling,
on some of the social media, you would think that every order is going to get canceled. But what is your take on it? Honestly, you would think every order is going to get canceled.
I haven't spent that much time on, I guess I haven't been inundated with it, Aries. But yeah, wow, I'm surprised to hear there's that much hate for it. I know this question was for Chris. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, Chris.
I mean, I since you got thoughts about it, you might as well like spew them out because it's like it's that talk.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is that if you order from a place like Sideshow, I think a lot of people might have been within that 24-hour window when InArt announced theirs, and they had that time to cancel without a penalty. So there could be people within that window that did so. But you also do have you got those factions that are InArt lovers or Hot Toys lovers, and they're just on that side of the fence no matter what. I'm not one of those people. I see, like I said, I have both Hot Toys and InArt Batman figures, and I think there's some things that each company did better. So these are both AAA companies, man. I don't think there's a bad, like I always said that about the Batman. I said whichever one you get, you got a great figure. Like I think that's the case for this one as well. For me, I know that Aries, I get the sense of where you're coming from, and I know there's a lot of other people that are like, hey, hands down, InArt crushed them on this one. But I think we'll have to see. I know that a lot of people like the colors on the Hot Toys better, and we won't really know how those colors come off until we see the film, because the marketing has been kind of all over the place. Sometimes it looks brighter, sometimes it looks more accurate to the InArt. It's hard to say. So I think the movie's going to really tell us a lot.
There's so many references and stills and shots of people pulling for those suits. Like, is the
texture
symbol
on the S?
Is the texture too much? Is it too little? Is it present? Is it not present? Because some it looks like it's there, some it looks like it's not. The suit's darker. Some places it's not. Like, it is pretty crazy, and that's ultimately why I've come that decision to see the movie. But Hot Toys is gonna sell what Hot Toys is gonna sell, man. Something goes up, and especially when you have a main US distributor and Sideshow that people are comfortable with, and rewards program, it's all packaged in that one little site. You're familiar with it. It's super easy. Whereas
that's another good point. Yeah.
Whereas somebody mentioned in the chat, InArt with this license doesn't distribute to the US. So you have to get it through some other company, and some people not be comfortable. And there are very reputable sites that, I, Connor, I'm sure Lane and Aries and even Victoria, we order through because we know and have ordered, but some people just don't trust that or won't do it. So I definitely think Hot Toys is going to outsell InArt, but
yeah.
I know InArt is going to sell copies as well.
Right. So my question is, does any of this matter, Lane? And I think the movie is going to be good, but there was a lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of social media. There's a lot of pre-trash in this movie, but like anything else,
it's very unfair.
A lot of trash.
It's very. I know it's unfair, but
yeah.
If the movie, let's just say, Lane, the movie is bad for whatever reason, does any of this matter then?
It might for some. I mean, the thing is, this is why the companies are sneaky a little bit. It's just because, well, I mean, you think about it. Even if you ordered the Superman directly, you were having to put down a pre-order for an InArt. Now, Hot Toys versus InArt, that might be a little bit different for what people are willing to cancel or not cancel. I mean, InArt, you were having to put at least $60-something down or more from various sites down. So if you're going in on the InArt Superman, you're going in. You have to be willing to lose a good chunk of money. Now, if you're able to buy multiple $300 figures over the course of a year, $63 and having to say goodbye to may not be the hardest thing to have to do. But we don't want to cancel anything really if we can avoid it.
The price isn't
you
that
just lose
far
money.
off, though.
Yeah,
I
know, but I'm just saying that the pre-order to put down for most places is pretty expensive in comparison. Yeah. If you're trying to pre-order the Superman. Now, the thing is, you're going to have a lot easier time getting your hands on the Hot Toy Superman overall.
Oh, for sure.
And the other thing is that I think whatever we think about how it looks or made or this or that, the Hot Toy Superman, it should be in people's hands in markets like the US, other things, probably by end of January 2026. Whereas you're going to probably be waiting till like 2027 or end of 2026.
I think InArt actually said that they're putting theirs out quick, right?
In my opinion, like
InArt might put it out to like 50 people.
I can personally wait on a figure if it looks good enough. Like I'm not one of those like I have to have it.
And add that to me, Chris and Lane, where you went and where you're going with it, and guys, everyone in the panel here, is where I'm going with it. So, because I think there's good comments in here about their, who has a dog in the fight, Hot Toys, InArt loyalists, whatever. My thing is, I'm the kind of collector that's a little particular. So if I have if InArt, for instance, let's go with Star Wars, because you all know I love Star Wars. If InArt did Star Wars, and their Han was better than Hot Toys, I'm buying the InArt Han, because I wouldn't be able to stand it as a collector that there's a Han Solo out there that I don't have. Where I can be loyal to a team and to a company, absolutely, but I'm more loyal to the collecting. If there's a vinyl Cape Jawa out there, and some of you know what I'm talking about, I'm going to freaking get it. That's the kind of collector. So for me, what I'm doing with this is very interesting. It's interesting conversation, because I'm going to wait and I'm going to see which Superman is actually better. And is it possible that's the one I'm going to get? And I say yes, but here's a kicker. I really do think there's going to be a blockbuster, and I think there's going to be multiple variations of this. You may even get another variation from InArt, and maybe even very, very quickly. So I think there may be room in the room, Victoria, for both versions from two different companies. What do you think about that?
Definitely. The more companies that are putting product out, I mean, that's the more options for the consumer. You can always buy what's best for you, whatever your collecting needs are, whatever your budget is. If you're the kind of collector that needs the best of the best, then you have the InArt in this case to go with.
Victoria, let's stay with you. Let's go to Clone Commander Gregor, another 2,500 release figure, only 2,500 limited. And this was another one that came out when the Iron Man did. Now, I will tell you, Victoria, with these troopers, for the most part, they do pretty good in the secondary market. For instance, I'm going to pull up Scorch, and we're going to go back to this here. You could see that Scorch, and I'll actually go to the original the listing so we can see here, had 15 bids. That's pretty healthy. Went all the way up to $335, and a lot of these recent ones, like Scorch, they have demand. Like Iron Man, and some of them could be right up there with him, for sure. But these exclusive figures, I kind of echo what Lane's saying. I feel like I'm in an exclusive Wonderland, he was saying, or a nightmare, or hell, or whatever it is. But here's another exclusive, Victoria. But this trooper looks badass. Did they ever do anything like this with Black Series or something, or Hasbro? Gosh.
Yeah, they have made them in Black Series at least. Yeah, it looks cool. There are a lot of questionable exclusives right now. I mean, this one to me isn't the worst offender because it's part of like a team, right? It's like a named character. But like some of the more generic ones, right? Like the 212 Trooper, a couple of months back, and Commander Cody, like those are obviously much more prominent. Those were a little unusual to see as exclusives. I know a lot of people missed out on those because they went pretty quick. You had to know, you had to be surprised when they went up, when they did, very, very, very early in the morning US time, and have just basically lucked out. But I mean, to me, this makes a little bit more sense as an exclusive. As far as the figure itself, I mean, I've done a pretty good job avoiding any of the Commando, Republic Commando, Imperial Commando type figures. So not one I'm intent on picking up, but yeah, I mean, it looks good. I think the detail on it's pretty nice. I know there's a lot of complaints about like some of the proportions on it, how it looks a little unnatural. But as of yet, they obviously haven't gone back to address that.
Yeah, no, really, really good. Lane, I'm going to go to you before we get to Mike and Chris. Jonathan says, as a huge Star Wars fan, I never thought I would say this, but he's getting troopered out, baby. Go, Lane.
Bro, there's a lot of troopers. I mean,
there's more troopers than Iron Man.
When we just had the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, you know, we just could say, well, we had stormtroopers, you know, we had the snow troopers, we had the scout trooper. I mean, you're already starting to get a lot of troopers there. You know, maybe the space trooper you see for 0.05 seconds in the original movie flying around in space. You know, there were a lot of variants, but are, you know, AT-RT drivers or something. I mean, but it was a little within reason. And then we had the clone troopers and we had the 212th we saw, and we saw the 501st, and it was kind of easy to keep the Legion straight. But then you had Clone Wars come in with all the other paint schemes, and then introducing the 500 other clone commanders and name troopers and vehicle troopers and blah, blah. I mean, and then we had the Death Troopers, and then they said, hey, guess what? For some reason, we've got guys who hang out on the beach called the Shore Troopers. And then there's multiple versions of those guys. You know, like it just, I mean, in the Disney era, you know, and that's not even including, like, I'm just like, we could get, since they're going more like video game, you know, like we got Dark Nihilist, we might have the Sith Trooper from the Knights of the Old Republic games eventually, and they're like, you know, silver, like metallic armor. So we might have more troopers coming of it. There's always, if we are in a trooper world, there will always be troopers coming to find us. Or we've got multiple, we thought there were just red guards, but obviously we have several versions of Protarian guards, which are the successors to the red guards. And like, I can understand, like Gregor here, I love the character from Rebels, like old man version of him. And I actually think this suit looks cool. Like, it is a very, like,
it does look cool.
Yeah, all the clone commando, like just the clone, even though I know they're not exactly accurate 100% to the original clone commando armor from the video game and stuff, they're a little shrunk down a little bit. But like, he looks cool. This is a super distinctive look for this guy. That's one thing at least they've done. However, I said goodbye to this guy because I said I'm not getting him, because I've already got Scorch, which you were showing earlier, which came out like a year ago. Now, obviously, that is more based off the Bad Batch version of him, so his armor was already a little bit different than how he looked in the game. But I've got Boss. I'm about to get charged for him this week. I'm just going to get Delta Squad. So they've already shown Fixture and Set. I'm just getting them.
Before I go to Chris and make my way around here, I have to ask you this: is it possible, the way you're talking about troopers, that we could actually get an exclusive Captain Crunch or TK FOMO?
Well, those would be cool. I think we're more likely to get an Ares trooper.
Yeah. You have to wonder.
Yeah, I mean,
would it sell?
Senator TK figure. I mean, to go along with a 2-pack with Bail Organa and or Mon Mothma. That would be the Senator 3-pack from Hot Toys. We always need it.
Wow. Well, maybe Hot Toys Chris will do a special thing where they'll when they start serializing all these exclusives and these artisans, which I think they'll be forced into doing sometime in the not too distant future. You know, maybe when they start doing that, they'll come out with a trooper where you can call the trooper whatever you want, and it can be Trooper Collecting Madness, or Trooper Lane, or Captain Crunch. All you got to do is send them in your name with your pre-order. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yo, if they did anything like what Lego did, like
Mm-hmm.
I think there's actually a company in Hong Kong or somewhere, Japan, somewhere, like you can actually get a custom figure of yourself.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that one day, but like if that was ever a service offered, without a doubt, I would definitely do it for sure.
Hasbro's done it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and hey,
I'd
you
have
know,
a
we
little
gotta,
Hot Toys box, something holding it.
you know, we gotta remember.
Oh,
Hot
did you have
Toys-
something up? Did I put you on solo low out? I'm sorry.
Say again? Who? What?
Oh, I thought you were holding up a Hasbro figure there, Chris. Sorry.
Oh no, I was saying I was like holding an imaginary Hot Toys box that my figure would come with of myself. I was just
Chris likes to show his imaginary collection off.
That's hilarious.
No,
That's
I was-
hilarious.
His collection is
This
10
is me
times the
holding my-
size.
Yeah. Just picture me 1/6 scale holding a Hot Toys box. That's basically what that was.
So
Aries, I do have one of these Selfie series figures.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what they were
bring it
called.
up. Let's see here.
So
I
this
remember-
is from a couple years ago, different hair, but yeah.
Oh, nice.
Look at
Oh,
that. That's
wow.
awesome.
Nice.
That's cool.
Ghostbusters.
Wow.
I remember
They did a
hearing-
nice
got-
job.
So do you think, Victoria, that would be maybe Howard's listening? And he could be like,
Mhm.
if you think about it, how many pre-orders maybe people would get if they could have their own name with a hot toy? Wow. Howard, don't forget to share some of that. This is part of my idea.
The
So
royalties. Yeah.
the royalties. Come on. No, Victoria, what are your we already went to you, Victoria, on that. But Chris, going back to you, do you have any thoughts on the figure, not just serializing them or what we're talking about there, but with this?
Yeah, you know, I'm a massive fan of the whole serial thing. I wish they would do it. No shade to Hot Toys, but I know if InArt did it, like did exclusives, they would definitely have it numbered because they come with those little tickets of pre-order dates and stuff like that. But if you can't tell, like, because of the details, which I like, I have a limited amount of space. I also collect what I thoroughly enjoy and love, and so I'm very picky about what comes into this room. And for troopers, that's not something high up. I go from prequels all the way to sequels, and I try to do the main troopers, like the iterations. So, like phase 1, a phase 2, I got the 501st, and then you got Commander Cody, and then I go from there to a regular Stormtrooper. And I still have yet to get a First Order Trooper. I want that 2-pack of Finn, but as far as troopers go, it's pretty slim pickings. Oh, and I do have a Scout Trooper. So anything crazy out of the like this, I'm not super into. They do look cool, but I just don't have the space to get them all. I do love, however, seeing other collectors have them and get multiples. Like Sean is a big trooper collector, and he definitely like. I would love to see somebody who has all of them have multiples and just see what that army just looks like in one massive photo.
Yeah, it would be probably spectacular to see. Good thoughts. Mr. Mike, any chance that this doesn't go hard like the other ones of its kind? How do you think this is going to be gone pretty quick? What do you think? 2,500?
I think it'll be gone pretty quick. And I do think this one goes pretty hard. I've got the Scorch and the Imperial Commando. Sometimes it's nice to collect these in threes. And I'm a sucker for camo, whether it's digital camo or whatever. Like I'd love to see like I think it's the 41st. There's the Troopers on Kashyyyk. Like I just think that's such a cool look. I don't know. I think it looks awesome. I think it would have been great if it came with a Gregor head sculpt because we have seen his face in the Clone Wars show. Obviously, we saw him in Rebels 2 when he was older. But for them to just like pump out a Tamora Morrison head sculpt would have been easy because Gregor doesn't really have anything particularly unique about his look or his hair. So that would have been an easy thing to do, considering he's very bare bones. I mean, they're bragging about an openable backpack with nothing to put in it. Let's put his hands in there. But no, I think he looks awesome, and he might be like the third one, and then I cap it off in that series for me. And maybe there's a lot of other people that feel that way. We'll see. But I think I'll go.
Well, Mike, I'm sorry.
No, I think I'll go. I think also.
But here's our last segment. We're going to do it really quickly. We're going to end the show here. So you saw the banner, and there's still a 10th anniversary of a certain film called The Force Awakens, which is the highest grossing film in the United States. It is a film that made $2 billion worldwide. And did I get some kind of information from otherworldly beings that an artisan Force Awakens Kylo Ren may be coming very, very quickly? And I say, you heard it right here at 6-Scale Cantina. You better buckle up for an artisan Kylo Ren.
Wow.
I love this. Would love it.
We
We already got Poe.
When I saw this promo shot that you posted, Aries, I thought we were going to be talking about Lane's high school graduation picture. I didn't realize it was Kylo. But I could drum up some excitement for Kylo, but I was more excited to talk about Lane.
Lane, I got a man crush on you.
It's forever ingrained in my head now.
I don't know if I was ever had that then on cheeks. This would be like 500, like artisan.
Oh no!
Yeah, right. Kylo Ren. Although
Kylo Ren with hair like this, a Sith Lord.
I'm reading now.
500 would be hard, Lane.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I would purchase it simply because The Force Awakens out of the sequel is my favorite one of those three.
Yeah.
And I love Kylo having the helmet. I think it's a much more sinister look. And that's the version I have in the collection. So if they did this, I'd probably pass.
I like the one with the Chris with the lava.
Oh, the busted up. Yeah.
When he puts it together.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You're right. Like if they gave you that in like a DX, I feel like I'd be watching one of Justin's videos. Like, am I going to?
I want that Black Series one
with the helmet.
Yeah, I want that Black Series helmet of that. I have to get that still.
Could they do it like could they give you like a DX04 Bruce Lee where you have like two bodies or something like that, or they did it with other figures where
yeah, give us Ben Swallow. That's what we really want.
Yeah. But I think they're gonna maybe unload something here on us very quickly. This could be a very interesting week.
Artisan I would take.
And Loki's around the corner. Loki, the drop, is his brother. An announcement around the corner.
This would be great.
No, I need Avengers 1 Artisan Thor. That's the Thor I need. Not this Artisan Thor. I need the other one.
Well, let me ask you, which okay, so give me the first two Artisan Thors. Which ones are they going to do, in your opinion?
Dude, if they don't do the original, like, Avengers 1 movie, Thor, I wouldn't say it's a fail, but it's disappointing to me because they've done all the other ones. They did do that one, but it needs to be revisited. And if they're going to do a 2.0, I think they should do. It's either that or I don't know if they even would, because Ragnarok Thor is pretty iconic too, but he's got shorter hair. So I don't know.
I think it would be Infinity War. I don't know. But
Infinity War. It would have to go for a movie, but I would just love to see that OG, like, with the original 7.
Wait, which is the one that he was heavy, that he was drunk and all that?
That was Endgame.
That's Endgame.
That's Endgame.
Yeah, that is definitely not the Thor we need.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Based on this photo, that's why I don't want.
In 4 hours, that's the one you're getting late.
But you're right. I would like to see them revisit the first Avengers film. Just give us all 2.0s of that.
Yeah, I mean, because they didn't really do it. They did it with the Endgame line, but we got the Loki, we got the Cap. They did another Mark 7. I'm hoping they do another one of that because that one size-wise isn't up to par with what they've been doing with their current Iron Mans.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I got Hulk and Bruce Banner. It's literally Thor I need to complete it. Give me Thor.
Would you rather have this Thor, or would you rather have Him.
Thor.
I'll take them both.
Yeah,
That old
I
Aquaman, the both of them are not. I don't like them.
the Justice League. I mean, with this whole
all right.
James Gunn universe, I feel like I like the movie, the Snyder cut, but I feel like how that went, it kind of left a weird taste in the mouth, and I just Cavill's still Superman as far as now to me, but to have the whole league besides Wonder Woman, I still want a Gal Gadot. I cry every day that I didn't get that WB 100 version.
Don't worry, there'll be another version. It's coming, baby.
But
Victoria, let me ask you this: with the Wolverine artisan, the very interesting thing about it was the Apocalypse one. Okay, it had the beard, that had the artisan wool hair, and I think you kind of would need that for Jason Momoa here, and I think you would need it also for Thor. Could that be a precursor? I really feel like these two are very. If they don't get announced this year, Victoria, I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah.
Not come out, but announced.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I'm okay with them moving away from previous Justice League. Like, obviously the page has been turned as far as the films go, and with the new Superman figure. But definitely Thor. I agree with what I'm hearing. Like 2.0s of the 2012 versions, like the cap they did for Endgame, and like those would be great to see, like updates of like Black Widow. They could do an artisan there. Thor could be an artisan for sure. Those would be cool. And the Kylo you showed earlier, I think that's a figure that perfectly lends itself to artisan treatment. Will they do that? Would be very interesting. I think if they did do a Kylo, though, it would need to be a little bit more than just doing a new head with the rooted hair. It would need to be like a more posable version of what they did previously. Better materials, just a better overall quality figure. I think that's the only way that they would get me to onto another Kylo.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I'm going to make that call. Lane, we're going with you. What comes out first? Iron Man, artisan, or Christian Bale, artisan? What say you?
Probably Iron Man, because we've had a Christian. Because we've had just that 2.0 like armory less than a year ago, and we haven't had a new Iron Man with a Tony Stark head sculpt. Now,
and the other armory's on the way too, Lane.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We have the other one, the 2.0, right. The Dark Knight one. But if we don't see an Iron Man Tony Stark with an artisan, we're going to see a Doctor Doom with an artisan RDJ head sculpt at some point. Like that is 100% guaranteed that it will pop up. But I think it's more likely. I think more likely we could see a Mark 7 3.0 that is an artisan, like 3,500 or 3,000, something like that for RDJ. Like this is going to be their last big Iron Man before. Obviously it's actually longer now, but a year and a half before we're going to get with his Dr. Doom at the end of 2026.
Gotcha. So you're saying Iron Man before
I think March 7. I think March 7.
Okay, last question for you before I go to the next one as we end this here. Any chance that we'll never get an artisan Christian Bale or an artisan?
He see, this is how Aries manipulates and stuff like that a little bit here. He wants to make sure that you say we are getting an artisan Christian Bale.
I want you to say we're not going to get an artisan Christian.
I know. Aries, how many Christian Bale Batmans have we gotten, including?
Forget it. At
this point,
it feels like as many troopers.
I would like to point out,
including quarter scale.
Too many.
Yeah, Chris, you died out.
I'd like to point out I have an artisan Yoda.
Okay.
Do you really? Wait.
No, we will get. if we don't get an artisan, like if we never got an artisan bail, I would ask, what are you doing, Howard? Because there've been other scales, some artisan, like the J&D Batman has with actual hair. I think that now they would need to get the suit correct. Like they would need to get the suit 100% correct in that figure. Like get it, nail it.
All right.
Which I haven't done like 4 times.
Good call. Well, Lade, now I'm going to give Chris a hard one. Then we're going to go to Mike and Victoria. Okay. So, this is going to be a hard one. Which one are they going to give us first? Are they going to give us, Chris, an artisan Leia? Or an artisan Padme or Queen Amidala first? Is it the mom or the daughter first?
Man.
Not making it,
That
not
one's
making
tough for
it
sure.
easy. Now it could be any Queen Amidala, any Padme at all.
Yeah,
Okay,
dude.
is it her first, or is it Natalie Portman, or is it Carrie Fisher first? Make the call.
What anniversary is coming up next? Because if it's Phantom Menace, I do want to see Artisan Obi. I'll say that first and foremost. We need episode 1. All right. But I would like to say Leia. Leia hasn't been done in a while. I know there's not many of Padme either. And there's many outfits you can do there. Artisan hair. I mean, Jack Sparrow's was pretty impressive, so they could do it. But I think to do Leia's iconic bun, artisan-wise, that would be the ideal. Like, collectors that would send the internet through the roof, I feel like. Like, I don't even collect A New Hope like that. I have Ben Kenobi, but having that Leia, like, that's the defense. Like, we know Leia. I feel like everybody would just go through. So I'm going to just say Leia.
Very, very good call. Then I'm going to do the same thing to you as I did to Lane. Is there any chance that we will never get an artisan Padme Natalie Portman and never get an artisan Carrie Fisher?
I feel that there is a no. Gosh, this is hard. Padme Amidala, is there a chance we'll never get that as an artisan version? I think possibly yes. Not because I don't want it, just because I'm trying to think if they did that, her hairstyles obviously are wildly intricate. It's doable. What would it cost? I mean, I don't know. Like that's a big question mark to me. Leia, I think, is inevitable. I think absolutely they're going to do an artisan version. A New Hope is turning 50 in 2027, just a couple years away, and I think that'd be the right opportunity to do it. And I feel like generally we're going to probably see, it'll be 10 years since the last iterations from Hot Toys at that point. So I think we'll see an influx of A New Hope characters around that time, 2.0s of some of the classics. I think that's when you get Artisan Leia, possibly Artisan Han, possibly Artisan Luke. But yeah, I definitely think Leia will come at some point.
Well, Victoria, thanks for answering that. I was actually for Chris because I have a picture one for you. But no, that's a very good call. But let me just stick with you, Victoria.
She made good points though, and definitely when she said
she made better points than Chris would have, so we're good.
No, like no kidding, because
I'm kidding.
Artisan Luke, they already kind of have the blueprint for that. So like when she said that, I definitely could see them doing that for sure.
Well, let me throw a hard one at Victoria then, and see what figure are they going to come out with first. This version of the Emperor or 2.0 of Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah, definitely Obi-Wan. Definitely. I love Palpatine, Darth Sidious. I think they've covered him pretty well at this point.
That's why I'm bringing him up, because isn't it weird? They seem like they're coming out with every version of him. So that's why I thought it may be hard. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah. I'm good off of him. An artisan one would be interesting. If it's dark side version though, I mean he's usually covered with the cloak, so you wouldn't really.
Oh, it could be any figure. This one doesn't have to be art. I got artisan.
It could be yeah, definitely Obi-Wan. We're due for an update on that one. With what we've seen with the 2.0 artisan Anakin's, I definitely think that's next. I'm actually surprised that they came out with the Attack of the Clones version this year.
Wade and I were talking about that, Victoria. We were like, Wade actually made the call on this one, and I called it with him. But then we were goofing around and saying every week they're going to go ahead and they're going to give you this instead, and they did. It's hard to follow them, isn't it?
It's very hard to follow many of the decisions they make. We were talking about troopers being exclusives earlier. Like some of those are just really weird, like the stuff with the artisan Anakin and the artisan Darth Vader, Dark Side Sith Apprentice. Like some of this, it's just really hard to break down the logic back there and the rationale behind some of those choices. But yeah, I definitely think we're gonna get episode 3 Obi-Wan, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Okay, this one goes to Mike Latoris. 2.0 question for you, sir. Which 2.0 are we getting first? This? Or this?
Ouch.
Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan? Alec Guinness. Go, baby.
It's a tough one. I want them both.
Yeah.
We seem to be on a prequels high lately. I think we'll probably get that Qui-Gon, and they like to like miss anniversary deadlines and then throw one out there like they did with the Obi-Wan, right? Like the Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan, just he was a necessary figure for that line, and then all of a sudden he came out like a year after everyone else did. So I think we can get this for the episode 1. I think we'll probably get Qui-Gon first.
I'm on board with that.
That is a hard one. It is so hard, isn't it?
Not that I wouldn't love an Alec Guinness, don't get me wrong, but
I kind of agree. Okay, so as we close it up over here, Lane, which one would come out
Himself.
first? Bale? Bale or
General Veer?
no, I got to throw a good one. Bale or Cara Dune?
Oh,
Bale before Cara Dune.
I want Cara Dune,
but that's because of real life concerns.
She would be so great.
Oh yeah, Cara Dune feels like a figure that would I'm not sure she would. I mean, given how long it's been her character since she appeared, I don't think she would sell gangbusters. Yeah. But if they did a decent likeness of it and everything, I mean, she's Disney persona non grata. Like there's zero chance of that happening while there's still a lawsuit going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say unless there's something in the lawsuit where she's like,
"Yeah,
I want a figure."
Yeah, I mean, but like Cara Dune with that, I can't say in Mandalorian I'd be interested. Maybe a few years ago, like 2023, I would have been very interested in the Cara Dune figure. But Bail Organa, at least, I mean, maybe for a celebration, he feels like, or him or Mon Mothma feel like they would be a perfect figure that they could do for a next celebration or something, because they did Galen. And
but don't you think Cara Dune rounds out your Mando collection more than a Bail Organa would round out your prequels? I don't know. I do anyway.
Well, I only have like 4 Mando figures.
Okay.
Anymore. Not including like Moff Gideon and some stuff. But I just think that Cara Dune is cool, but I can see a Bail Organa, but I can also see him more is because they put out not exactly the same character, but they put out a kind of what figure. They put out Galen Erso this year. He's in that same class of character where he's not a Jedi, He's not a trooper. You know, he's not maybe a well-known Imperial like director critic or, you know, or I mean, I don't know. I put him on the same level as Moff Jarrah from like.
But we saw him in Andor. We saw him in Andor too, Lane,
Yeah.
right?
All
Even
right,
a
so-
different actor, but
I like this segment. We're gonna continue it next time. Here's another hard one: General Hux or Grand Admiral Holdo.
Vice Admiral. Grand
Yeah.
Admiral. That's Imperial time, baby.
Guys, this has been such a fun show, and I think I make that call. I think I'm going to keep that going. I have to greatly update 6scalecantina.com, ladies and gentlemen, and I will, and it will be getting updated this week. We're getting back with everything slowly but surely, but certainly we've been able to muster up enough energy to do season 3, be in the middle of it anyway. The new season of Ancient Action Figures. For many of you who did not get to see the intro, we will go ahead and play it as the outro. But this was a great show here tonight. A lot of fun topics, a lot of very interesting topics, for sure. Going to make my way around. Mr. Lane, my right hand here, my compadre. Always good having you in here. I want to thank you again for the giveaway next week. You gave away a Catwoman. Our winner, Santiago, I believe, was able to display it, put it on the 6-Scale Cantina Facebook page. So thank you.
Very happy.
Yep, and always good having you here. Just next week, can you please wear the Aaron Rodgers hat? I mean, it's not the same without it.
Did you have to say Aaron Rodgers?
Dude, you're the Steelers guy. Where's the Aaron Rodgers hat?
I have a guy at work who keeps going about, hey, how are the
Well, look, I can't even put anything. You got Chris putting up the Donovan McNabb fanboys here.
Donovan McNabb.
Donovan McNabb. Good God, dude.
Bro, when Donovan McNabb was the quarterback, like that.
Don't even say I wasn't born. I was born. I lived through him.
He was like 12 or 13 years old.
Nah, you have to go to Randall Cunningham. I've never seen play.
There you go, Randall Cunningham. Mike Latoris, what a great pleasure to have you in here. Someone who's been usually in the chat. So wonderful to have you in here. I had a lot of fun with you here today, my friend.
Oh, me too. And my wife wanted to say hello, by the way. She says hi.
Hello, Mike's wife. And such a pleasure to have Mike on here and to have you watching for sure.
Yeah, thank
you. Next time, maybe you and your wife come on.
I told her she should at least wave, say hello, but she was shy. So she just said say hi for me. So
absolutely. No, so good having you in here, my friend.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
Oh, for sure. Victoria, it is so cool. We've been doing stuff for a while, and I've been on your show quite a few times in the cantina, serving up some drinks over there. You've been in here. Feel like it's been a minute since you've been in here, but so good to have you in here tonight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you, Aries, for having me on. It's been great hanging out with you and with everyone on the panel and everyone in the chat. And glad that you're doing much better, Aries. It's the best news, and
yes,
it's been a blast. Yeah, I'm on Victoria's Cantina Anywhere. Cantina Social on Friday night, so we are in a little bit of a summer break, taking a little bit of a breather to kind of reorganize the collection a little bit. And if anyone's going to San Diego Comic-Con, we're doing a big second annual creator meetup. Lots of YouTubers and toy community folks will be coming. So if anyone's coming, that'll be on the Friday of Comic-Con. I believe that's the 25th of July, and we're meeting up at 4 p.m. We'll post all the details on Instagram. But yeah, great being here, great conversation, and we'll look forward to doing it again.
No, sounds great. And listen, everybody who's watching, make sure that you go ahead, if you're not subscribed to Victoria at Victoria's Cantina, you got to go ahead and do so. She has a great channel, has a great vibe, talks a lot of Hot Toys and Star Wars and the whole kip and caboodle. So real pleasure to have you on. Make sure you're all subscribed to Victoria's Cantina. And while you're at it,
make sure you subscribe to the Collecting Madness. Also, my friend Chris, he has a great channel, does great stuff. A lot of times he's on Tuesdays with the Hot Toys Hotline. Chris, good to have you on here again, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Always good to see you. Glad you're doing well. You're back in this, man. With that
Let's go.
third episode, you're killing it. And yeah, just looking forward to more. Looking forward to being on in the future. Had a great time tonight. Nice meeting Victoria. And always good chatting with Lane and Mike, of course.
We'll do this again. We're going to be live again next Sunday. Same time, same station. 7 p.m. Eastern. Are we going to get Artisans this week? And I say...
They call him the Wizard.
And without further ado, I don't always spill my coffee and then finish the wizard juice and have a shortage on spotchka and have to wash it down with off-world Jawa egg juice. But when I do, I do it right here at the 6-Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends. And here is the outro, which is the intro. If you missed it. Stay thirsty.
Nevada, Area 51. A top-secret base mired in mystery, intrigue, and now a new conspiracy suggesting humanoids and aliens are working together to obtain ancient artifacts that can alter the very fabric of our universe.
There is an obsession with certain ancient artifacts, particularly in 6-scale form. What is this obsession? And how is it affecting Hot Toys and InArt?
Is there a connection between the Area 51 secret base and the Hot Toys secret base?
Could the connection explain the vast improvement with head sculpts recently? Could both secret bases be working together to reverse engineer some otherworldly head sculpting technology?
And are both secret bases unleashing drones like the one seen off the Jersey Shore this past winter?
Are these drones searching for ancient artifacts?
So I do think you have to ask yourself, is the waitlist, all of this less production, and these high market prices all part of some secret master plan? And I say, let's go ahead and dive into episode 3 of the new season of Ancient Action Figures, baby. Right now.